Hey, what is up, everyone? So, this past weekend, or I guess this past week, honestly, we had the anniversary event going on in Sea of Thieves. It all kicked off on March 20th when we had the big live stream with, the whole 2024 preview event. That was really cool. If you want to see my thoughts on that, I'll have that linked here. But then we also had this basically in game event going on for the anniversary, and at first, I kind of looked at it and I was just like, oh, it's kind of similar to other stuff they've done in the past, like the community weekends and stuff. But honestly, this has probably been one of the more fun events I've had in the game in the past, year or two. Really, since the last time they did like actual events in the game, it feels like. And I'm not really sure why exactly. Like, if we're being honest, there's not too much different with this event as opposed to some of the other ones. But in this video, I just kind of want to talk about my experience with this event, what I think they could do better with events in the future, and some of the issues with this event. The big takeaway from this event was it was a lot of fun, but very buggy. I ran into so many bugs this weekend, more than I have experienced probably all year playing the game. There was issues with trying to dive to voyages or world events, where basically every time I would dive, it would just spawn me at a new outpost, and I wouldn't be able to dive. Basically, I couldn't really do any voyages all Friday night because it just wouldn't work. And even all the way till Sunday, at the last day of the event, this issue was still present, and I had to just start. I wasn't able to do some other world event voyages like I wanted to, so I had to choose just regular voyages, and then I had to sail to them, which, not the biggest deal in the world, but I was really wanting to do some of like the raid voyages and stuff with the double golden XP. So it was very frustrating to have that experience. I guess in some ways it's better than the whole game crashing like it used to be, but the diving mechanic, now that we're towards the end of season 11, it's just not really working. It's very buggy, and while I don't want these seasons to be delayed more than they already have been, over the past year, it probably should have been, left in the oven a bit longer. It needed to be worked on a lot more. Because, honestly, I expect, the first maybe month of a season for there to be some bugs or maybe some things that need to be fixed with any new features that they add. But now that we're getting, towards the end of this, these issues should have been fixed a long time ago. The fact that it's still crashing, just literally not working at all, is very bad in my opinion. And then there were other issues. While I didn't personally have this issue because I started playing after it got fixed, when the event first started off, they basically had the challenge that was there trying to get the messages in the bottles, and you get like the sword for the reward. And trust me, I'm going to talk about that in a bit, but I want to talk about the bug with it first. It just wasn't progressing the challenge for them at all, or they weren't getting granted the reward even after they did some of the fixes and stuff. So that was pretty bad. I mean, the one big thing with this event was doing that challenge, getting that reward, doing these voyages and stuff, and it wasn't really working out that well. I also ran into an issue with those legendary messages and bottles where the spawn rate was really weird in my opinion. Half the time while I was playing, like I never saw one, and I kept going from island to island just trying to find one so I could do the challenge. And then other times I'd get on the game during the past weekend, and it was just like message in the bottle after message in the bottle. Like every island I went to had one. So the spawn rate was really weird. I don't know if that was a bug or if that's just coincidence. Who knows? The final bug though, and the one that really aggravated me outside of the diving mechanic not working, is that once I did get the diving mechanic to work, I went to do a skeleton fort, and my ship was basically completely immobile. So when I say that, what I mean is basically I got to the island, I anchored, and then, like I would normally do, I'd raise the sails up and then raise the anchor so I can turn my ship and have it ready to go in case who knows what might happen. The issue I had this time was essentially I couldn't interact with the anchor, I couldn't interact with Harpoon, I couldn't even interact with the map table. Even though I could sit on the map table, I couldn't interact with it to view it or anything. So there was a lot of weird buggy stuff with this past weekend. and it made it less fun, honestly. The reason I'm recording this video when I am is because I got kicked out of the game because it just kept crashing on me. So it's been a rough time playing the game. But then you might be wondering, why did I have so much fun this past weekend? I wonder that myself too, but I think I kind of figured out why that might be. So let's talk about what they actually did for this event. Essentially, the main thing with this event was it was focused more around Pirate Legends and Athena's Fortune. I have a feeling they did that because this is going to be like one of the last events before the PlayStation players get added to the game. So they wouldn't be Pirate Legends anyways, so it makes sense to do the Pirate Legend type stuff now before they get added in. I have a feeling that events after PlayStation folks get added into the game are probably going to be focused on either other trading companies or just more generic type of event stuff, not Pirate Legend or Athena's Fortune specific. But this event being Athena's Fortune specific made me really enjoy it a lot. So we had the legendary message in the bottles, which I thought were a really cool idea. Essentially, they were these, special looking message in the bottles that you could find on either islands or shipwrecks. And then if you did them, it would guarantee you a high value Athena's Fortune treasure. These were probably the best thing you could do. They were much better than doing any type of Athena voyage or anything to try to get these treasures. I found so many chests of legends during this weekend that it was honestly kind of crazy to see. Another really great thing with this was if you had an Athena's Fortune emissary on, just picking up the message in a bottle would raise your emissary grade a ton, and then obviously completing it and getting the treasure will get you even more. So just that alone made it so that there were so many people sailing around with Athena's Fortune emissaries on, and that was a lot of fun. So not only did I have my Athena's Fortune emissary and I was doing all this kind of stuff, but other people had it too, and you could either interact with them, go try to sync them, or you just ignore them and go do your own thing. It was just a lot of fun in my opinion. And then what I talked about a little bit earlier when we talked about the bugs, doing one of these legendary message in a bottle voyages granted you this new cutlass. I'll be honest, I think it's a nice looking sword, but it's, just kind of generic. I wish it had more of a ghostly effect on it, because that's what kind of looked like in the pictures before I got it. And then when I finally started using it, I was like, oh, it doesn't really look how I thought it was going to look. But in general, I think it's a nice reward. I do think they could have done more, if we're being honest. I missed the events we had in the past where we'd get a whole slew of different cosmetics, and now it seems like we're lucky if we even just get one thing. Like we saw this with the Halloween event this past year, where it was just the one sword, and yeah, so it's like we just don't really get much in the game anymore. Along with that, we had double gold and XP, and honestly, Golden Glory weekends are the best time to play a game. So that's what we had this past weekend, and that's always normally fun, but it's, we have it so often that it's not as special anymore. We usually get it every season at least, and then along with the community weekend, so it's basically twice a season that we get this, which I'm not complaining about. I'm just saying that it's not something that's super special. I think this combined with the Athena's Fortune stuff made this event special. What they did with Athena's Fortune, basically making that the centerpiece of this event, made it so that not only was we have like a new voyage type, even though it's just recycling kind of old content, it did feel, fresh and fun to do, and I was on the search for these legendary messages in bottles. But it also pushed me to do other types of voyages that I don't really touch. I decided this past weekend, because I was seeing how much emissary grade I was getting from doing these legendary message in bottles, I was like, why don't I try to do some of the voyages or do some other stuff with this? So I started doing the Skeleton Fort raid voyages. I revisited the Legend of the Veil voyage. That one was a lot of fun to do. I even did just some of the regular Athena's Fortune voyages, just kind of like the original one. They updated it for season 11, so it's a lot better now. But I did those ones. I did a lot of stuff in the Devil's Roar, so I was kind of exploring that area again. I even did some stuff outside of the Athena's Fortune group with the Lost Shipment voyages for the Merchants Alliance. Because basically, during the weekend, I maxed out the Emissary Ledger for Athena's Fortune. and I basically progressed my Athena's Fortune a lot of levels. So I got to the point where I was like, the month's almost over, why don't I go ahead and try progressing something else and see if I can get another emissary ledger up. So I started focusing on Merchant Alliance because I don't typically do it too much, and I kind of been wanting to do the Lost Shipment voyages for a while. So I was getting back into that, and what I found this event, for some reason, when all the other events haven't done it before, I really just enjoyed re-engaging with the content that was already in the game. That was kind of my experience with it. I think that's what made it a lot of fun. I think just the progression of it, having the boosted rewards made it feel more valuable to actually doing these voyages and stuff, spending the time. It felt like my time wasn't wasted. Whereas I think when it's just the normal rewards and it's not, boosted value for the reputation and the gold and everything, it can often feel like I'm wasting my time because you're just getting so little value, it feels like. So I don't know if necessarily the answer is to boost the rewards, because I think that's, then you just get used to that, and then the prices of cosmetics and everything have to kind of rise up to match it or whatever. So that's not really, something that will work, but I think that was the reason why it was so much fun. So what could they do in the future to keep this experience like how it was? For me, I think what we need to see is, don't just do another Golden Glory weekend. Do themed events, like kind of how this one was. This one was somewhat themed to Athena's Fortune and being like Pirate Legend and everything. Maybe we could see on a rotating basis, we have an event each season that focuses on one of the different trading companies. So maybe say next season is Gold Hoarder Golden Glory weekend, and then it's prioritizing doing stuff like the Ancient Vault, or, doing Gold Hoarder voyages, or anything related to the Gold Hoarders. And then you could have the next season after that doing Order Souls, and then Merchant, and then maybe we circle back to Athena's Fortune. We could even have like a Reaper's Week. I would also love to see them go back to kind of the older events they used to do, such as Reapers versus the World. That's kind of similar in my mind to like what this ended up being, and that would be a lot of fun as well. I think making these Golden Glory weekends a bit more special helps make it more memorable and make you want to actually participate in it. Because the Golden Glory weekends we've had over the past year or so, I've just kind of found myself less and less interested to play it. One, because they happen so frequently, so it's not like a special thing that you want to hop in the game for. And also just at a certain point, it's not really gold that you need. So it also helps that with Season 11 they raised all the levels for all the different trading companies, so I actually had something to progress for this event. That was also a factor that I think helped with me enjoying this event a lot more. It wasn't like I had already maxed out all my levels, like say if we had this event a year ago. With that all being said, the main reason I wanted to make this video is because I feel like if I only make videos after, we have these events in the game where I don't like the event, it comes off as, Sea of Thieves can never do anything right. So I think when Sea of Thieves does something good, and I do enjoy my time doing one of these events, I think it's important for me to make sure I make a video to discuss that. So I think Sea of Thieves did make a pretty fun event this time with this anniversary event. Do I think it could be very much improved? Definitely. I think events in the past were a lot better, but I had a lot of fun doing it. I do really think they need to fix these bugs before the PlayStation folks get added into the game in almost a month from now, because this is pretty bad. Game crashing, stuff not being able to interact with, ships being immobile, major important features not working anymore. Those are huge issues that really need to be addressed before April 30th comes. With that said, let me know in the comments below, what did you think about this anniversary weekend event that we had? Did you enjoy it? Did you even play it? Or what was your thoughts on the whole thing? Let me know all of that in the comments below, but if you enjoyed this video, it'd be great if it's a like and subscribe. And until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all later. Bye y'all.